Welcome to Final Punchline, a long-form dad joke podcast, Season 1. Episode 8 is titled Switzerland. It's written by Ryan Stevens and narrated by George Ledoux. Final Punchline's audio engineer is Patrick Sokol and is produced and directed by Yoon. Final Punchline's available on Apple, Spotify, and finalpunchline.com. Now sit back, relax, and listen for the Final Punchline.
American student Lena Meyer had joined her university's Model UN Club as soon as she set foot on campus for the first time. She hadn't even gone to her dormitory first, and as she was signing up, all of her suitcases blocked the door and kept other students from getting in. As all the other freshmen in Lena's residence hall got to know each other, Lena missed out on the icebreakers and free pizza and flat soda in plastic cups. The Model UN Club had been her priority. In her classes, Lena was always prepared, and she did well on her assignments and exams, but every one of her teachers could tell that she wasn't entirely focused on her studies. Something was always clearly on her mind, and her passions were always elsewhere. They would try to encourage her to really apply herself and try her hardest, because if she was always successful without trying, imagine what she could accomplish if she did try. Lena didn't pay attention to these messages because they disinterested her. Of course, it was Model UN that set Lena's brain in motion, and her passion for policymaking, her drive for diplomacy, and her intuition for international affairs all shone like the brightest diamonds surrounded by cheap rhinestones. For most students in Model UN, the club was simply an extracurricular, an extra notch on their CV, and a way to spend an hour or two every week. Lena stuck with the Model UN for her entire time in college. In her senior year, her dedication paid off. Seniors who spent all 4 years in Model UN got to take a trip to any country in the world, as long as they weren't currently at war with or engaged in a trade embargo. This was always bad news for some students, but it was impossible to predict. Arthur Langley, for example, would not be able to visit his dream country of Northern Ireland, and would instead have to settle for his second choice, Ireland. In the first Model UN meeting of the year, all of the seniors announced the countries that they would like to visit. One wanted to visit Japan. Another wanted to visit Lebanon. One wanted to visit Alaska, but after some students explained that Alaska was actually part of the United States, they changed their answer to Trinidad instead. The faculty advisor had a brief panic about whether or not Model UN should actually teach more geography. When it became Lena's turn, she beamed and announced she wanted to go to Switzerland. The rest of the club wasn't quite sure about Lena's plan. While others had explained that they wanted to experience Lebanon's history, Ireland's environmental beauty, or Alaska's snow, Lena offered no explanation. "Why exactly do you want to visit Switzerland, out of all the countries in the world?" asked the faculty advisor. "It has simply been my dream for a long, long time," Lena said. "That's been the entire reason I came to this school in the first place, and it's the whole reason that I've been a part of this Model UN Club since I was a freshman. It has all been in service of getting this trip to Switzerland." "But still," the advisor pushed, "what's so great about living in Switzerland?" "Well," Lena said thoughtfully, "among everything else, the flag is a big plus."
This has been Final Punchline. Thank you for listening. Please visit our website at finalpunchline.com. We'll be back in Season 2.